Do you think the Vols are legitimate national championship contenders? It's a yes or no. And Zach, I wait to see what the chat thinks. Do you think the Vols are legitimate national championship contenders? What is the chat saying?
A lot of yeses. Richter says yes. Mark says yes. Steven says yes. Eric says C, so that's yes. Honky Tonk says yes. Tyler says and brings up the Georgia thing, which we'll talk about, but he says yes. Definitely. You've got no, you've got hell yes, you've got 100% yes. Yep. I mean, Zoe says no, but overall, I think you got to define contender, right? How do you define contender?
Making the college, being a part of the probably top 6 when the rankings are coming out for the final time, right? Like having a chance to make it in the playoffs after championship Saturday. Does that make sense? It's complicated.
I would say before championship Saturday, because we know what the committee bases there, and there's only 4. That's the problem. That's why I hate it. So
which is why it's also why it's changing.
You're a contender before championship Sunday or Saturday in this sense. Not after, because after you kind of know what happens.
Yeah, going into it, yes. Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
So can you, and I think this is the unique part about this question is, can Tennessee play on championship Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, they can, but I think right now they're a contender like if the only loss is Georgia and Tennessee's 11-1 going into the SEC championship game, not being a part of it, Georgia's in there for the East. Tennessee's still a national title contender before that weekend, because all they got to do, sit at home, kick their feet up, and hope a couple teams lose and drop back. So if they beat Georgia, then obviously they're 12-0 and they're in the SEC title game. They're a national title contender going into that. So regardless of the outcome of the Georgia game, if we're going by that breakdown of logic, which I think is fair, I think yes is the answer. Is that kind of how you feel?
I think the hard part for me is Georgia is very similar to Tennessee. They've got an experienced quarterback there, and Georgia is obviously the defending national champions, right? So they have that on their back. I don't think Tennessee or Georgia will lose another game. So I think that whoever wins that game is going to go undefeated, just based on looking at their schedule. I think Georgia's scare has already happened. I think Missouri was their scare, and I think they righted their ways. They won that game, and they're kind of moving forward. Here's the tough part. I feel like in the scenario you just gave me, the likeliness that Tennessee could be last year's A&M is pretty high. And you never know, because Alabama more than likely is going to be in the mix. Here's the one thing of why I would say yes. And it goes back to politics. I know that there is a committee that votes on this. The committee has a best interest in mind. And I believe that they understand that people are tired of Georgia and Alabama and the teams that have been the same over and over again. I think that the committee sees the value of Tennessee, and they will get the benefit of the doubt. Now, I don't know in what scenario that happens where Tennessee can sneak their way in, but I do think they are a contender regardless of winning or losing at Georgia, because the committee will give Tennessee, because of their fan base, because of their money, because of this storyline, Josh Heupel, college football, what it represents. Hendon Hooker, I think, is there, right? Because of the Heisman thing that we're going to continue on down this path. Beating a former Heisman Trophy winner in Bryce Young helps you in the Heisman voting when the actual votes are cast. So I do think yes, because of some political things, it's going to come down to Georgia and Tennessee.
Sure.
And then what, and this is what you don't want. And I'm just going to look into a crystal ball. What you don't want, I don't expect Ole Miss to beat Alabama. I think Ole Miss can. I don't expect them to. I don't think Tennessee wants to play Alabama in the SEC
No.
championship game.
No.
Because I think Alabama will beat them.